Welcome one, welcome all, welcome back to another video. It's your girl Letty here, and today we're going to be talking about things that I wish I knew, like vaginal health I wish I knew when I was younger. While we're talking about that, get ready with me. Should probably just go to Home Goods, I don't know, but get ready. To try, there's this filter on TikTok that I am trying, so it's going to be a little bit of underpainting, so let's get to it. I'll probably put like a screen up here to show what I'm doing because woo chat. So I'm going to prime my face. I am using the OneSize Secure the Blur primer. I cannot talk. So you guys, I went out of town this past weekend, and had a blast with my family, but it got me to thinking because, you know, Lady Luck decided to start, and that is always fun. Now let's do a little bit of color correction with my Jouer in the shade Amber. All of the products will be listed below in the description bar. Now that we are done color correcting, let's try this face out. So I'll put it like right here on the screen. It's like right there on my eyebrow. I don't think that's supposed to go like that. That's different. Oh snap, I missed a step. I'm blending out the TikTok inspired situation. I started with my under eyes because sometimes I don't do that. I'm trying to see how this is gonna go because ooh child, normally I don't know cuz I don't know. Ooh, Jesus on the man, Lord help me. This is very scary, I will say that. Before I blend out my contour, I'm actually going to go in with my foundation, and I'm going to use my Haus foundation in the shade 480 medium deep neutral, a deep medium neutral. Like we're underpainting anyway, so might as well. It just feels so weird not to put anything in the middle of my forehead. Ooh, that is getting me. You know what? I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. Now we're gonna blend out my contour. Ooh. I'm not mad at it, but I do see there's an area where I can put blush. So I'm going to put blush there. I'm going to use my Rare Beauty blush in the shade Happy. I have no idea what I'm doing to my eyes, but I know I want to use this and Haus Labs powder foundation and Watermelon Bliss over it. Or I can even use the new peach one. So we're going to see. That's where the blush is placed on the picture. So we're going to do that as well. Okay. I use my e.l.f. Halo Glow in the shade 6 Tan Deep and just put it in the places where I put that other highlight or highlighter concealer. And what I'm going to do is blend this all out with my Bio Blender by Eco Tools and go from there. I'm going to take my Makeup Forever HD Skin Matte Velvet Foundation, powder foundation in the shade 4N68. Looks like this, and I'm going to use that to set my highlighted areas, because why the crap not? And then for the rest of my face, I'm going to use my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Dark Deep, and it's this shade right here. So let's go over with a big fluffy brush and just set the entire face. I'm not gonna lie, wow. And then with my Sephora translucent setting powder, I'm gonna set those highlighted areas again, because you know, what's the point of snatching your face when you didn't snatch your face? You know what I'm saying? Like, clean that up a little bit. That look a little cray cray. While that is baking, see my eyebrows? They ain't that right. See? Magic. But I'm not sure what I'm going to do with my eyes, but while we are doing the eyes, I'm going to talk about vaginal health I wish I knew as a teenager, because ooh child. Yeah, so let's get into this. So I moved you all a little bit closer, but I have this look in mind. Now you can wear this going out, or you can wear it to prom. It's a little edgy, a little grungy, but we're gonna do it. But so let me give y'all a little background story. I'm gonna go on with my NARS as a base. So I started my cycle when I was 10, the rightful age of 10 years old. And in my family, we do start early. But like a lot of Black families, talking about menstrual cycles, sex, anything to do with vaginal health is taboo to talk about. And I was, you know, one of the misfortunes of that, because I started mine, but I had to learn about my cycle from the girls club, and that was fun, but they didn't really go into depth. They gave you care packages. They talked about, you know, what your cycle would look like and all of this other stuff, but they didn't say how you would feel. They didn't say how to maintain. They just gave you some pads, because we were too young for tampons, and tampons weren't big back then, to be honest. I was born in the 80s and I grew up in the 90s. I know, baby face. But it was kind of taboo to talk about, and I don't like that it's like that, and it's still kind of like that. That's why I took the route that I've taken, like talked about self-care so much, because I don't want any young girl, old girl, teenage girl, anybody to have to go through kind of what I went through as a child and relive the things I lived. Like the mistakes I made, the things I wish I would have known sooner type of thing. I want someone to look at my journey and learn from it if they can. Now, everybody's experience is different. What works for me may not work for you. I am not a medical professional. Please consult one before taking any of my advice. And so I really just started my period like at 10 years old. Like, I want to say right when I turned 10 at that. Now, because I kind of knew that I could start my cycle at any time, because that's one thing that was discussed in my family, is that we start early. I think my mom started at 9. I started at 10. My sister started at 9. I think my grandma started at 10. So it's just like we start at a very young age in the family. So I already knew that's what I had to look forward to. And I was like, oh, great. So when it happened, I'm like, that's nasty. I thought, you know, it was not going to be as big as of a deal as it was when I started, but it was a big deal, because I'm like, what the crap is this and what is going on type of thing. Let's just say I was scared ishless, you know what I'm saying? It was not the best feeling. because I literally thought I was gonna die. I'm like, there's no way this much blood. I mean, I feel like it wasn't explained the amount of blood and uterine lining you would have come out of you. And I'm like, at such a young age, y'all sure I'm not dying a little bit? Like, there's no way. But that is what it is. And I will tell you, it's not fun. So learning and being educated about your cycle at a young age is like very important. That's kind of what I want my niece to know. My niece is 10 and she's starting to develop, and I'm like, I need her to, well, she's about to be 10. Let me take that back. She's about to be 10 and she's starting to develop, and I really want her to learn and start practicing now and using the right products for her body. Like, I know Honey Pot has an unscented version of panty liners, so I kind of want to get her those to like start off on her journey, and then like do a little care package. I wish I would have gotten a care package when I was little, you know, 10, even my teen years. I wish I would have thought of a care package, having an extra pair of underwear, having an extra pair of pants or whatever I had on, kind of like similar to it but not exactly, and then having like, you know, pads, wipes, but back then there was no wipes. You had douche, which is bad for you, and you had pads and tampons. It wasn't a lot of known things about your vagina when you were young. Well, when you was my age, growing up in the 80s and 90s. It's not a lot. Well, I got my cycle in the 90s, so let me start there. So I got my cycle when it was 1994. It's almost 30 years later. Yeah, that part. So if y'all don't know what palette I'm using, it's the Hooded Beauty Empowered palette. I love this palette. I will probably be purchasing this palette again. If they had Legacy and Confident and maybe Keep Going and a couple of other shadows in here, like as singles, I'll probably buy them. I probably would, because I use Legacy and Confident so much, it's ridiculous. It really is. Fast forward to high school. They said once you hit 18, you're gonna notice a bigger change than what you noticed when you started your cycle. And I'm like, okay. Now mind you, I had no idea about yeast infections. They said, oh yeah, like I forgot who it was. I think it was a friend of mine who had turned 18 before me. You're gonna know about yeast infections. And I'm like, wait, what? Why would I learn about yeast infections? Like, or have yeast infections at my rightful age of 18? Like, what the crap? Not knowing that it's kind of something that happens, especially in the African American community. That's fun. I'm like, dang, we gotta think about everything. And sure enough, at 18, I got my first yeast infection. Going in with the color Get It a little bit. It's like this peachy nude, and gonna go over that color Legacy, like right at the corners. So I got my first yeast infection at 18 while still in high school, because I turned 18 in high school. The year was 2002 when I graduated high school, and it was the worst freaking thing you can possibly, I'm going back in with Legacy, but I'm like, how, what is this situation? Of course, I had to tell my mom I was starting to have relations, so that was fun. Let me tell my mom that I am starting to have said relations so I can go to a gynecologist, a vagina specialist, basically is what I'm gonna call it, a vagina specialist. I go to said vagina specialist and she tells me, oh yeah, we're just gonna give you some Flagyl, or the genetic version was metronidazole. And I was like, okay. I took it, broke out in hives. Apparently I was allergic. That was fun. But also, no one tells you about having sex on your cycle can throw off your pH. I'm thinking something is wrong. This is why we need to get educated before we start having sex, or even be able to have somebody to talk to about vaginal health and your period and your, you know, everything before sex, while you're having sex, or just have somebody to talk to. And I didn't have that. So I'm like, I didn't know sex on your cycle can throw off your pH. Yeah, it can. I'm thinking, hey, I got an STD or something, or VV wasn't really as like known as it is now, but I didn't have that either. It was literally just my balance was thrown off. I didn't know anything about that. I was so nervous and scared to talk about stuff like that while growing up. Regardless, in my 20s, I was so embarrassed. Like, oh, why can't I get through this? Like, what is going on? Why can't I balance this? And what am I doing wrong? Or I'm not having sex during my period anymore, so what is going on? Apparently your cycle can do that too. So as a teenager, I wish I would have known not to have sex on my cycle, for one, because for me, it throws off my pH balance, no matter who I'm with, no matter if they're faithful or not. It just throws off, because sperm at that time, and I was, you know, young, dumb, and full of, at that time, I was trying to have a baby at 18. Girl, you was a baby yourself. What you got going on? But my then boyfriend and I were trying to have a baby. God, thank you for that not happening. Universe, thank you for that not happening, because but during that time it was like, oh my gosh, wow. So I'm gonna go in with Escapism and Zen from the Danessa Myricks palette and do like this green grungy look. I really am excited about this because I'm gonna go in with some darkness. I feel like I need to possibly put some mixed glitter glue because it's not doing what I would need it to do at all. Slowly is but surely. But let me pack this on with an actual packing brush and my NYX glitter glue. All right, taking my NYX glitter glue and just going over that so I can intensify this because I feel like it ain't doing what it's supposed to do. There we go. Yes. Feather it out later. Then use this to feather it out. Also, put it right here. Ooh, girl. So, things I wish I knew about yeast infections, how to properly care for your cycle, how to properly maneuver through your cycle, what not to do, what products to use. I know it seems a lot, but it's something that I think should be taught even as soon as you get your cycle, and have somebody that you can easily talk to as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause being a young person with vaginal issues can be a lot in high school. Kids pick on you. Can be a lot in middle school and in elementary school too, depending on when you get your cycle. You know what I'm saying? It can be a lot. And sad to say it, but you know, like I said, in our family, we start really early. And by starting really early, that can be something in elementary school that can shape you for the rest of your life. And I really wish I would have known that growing up, to be honest. And the products to use, now they have more products and better quality products, and you kind of know what's in the products and how to maneuver. These kids these days, they have a lot better resources, and I that makes me so happy because I did not have that growing up. So there's Honey Pot, which has great products. There is instead of the antibiotics, because I noticed that the antibiotics that I would get to treat yeast infections would actually not work. They were used to maintain. Oil of oregano is really good antibiotic. It's antiviral and antibiotic, and I love oil of oregano. Don't use it too much though. Or boric acid suppositories. I use the Honey Pot ones. You only need one, and let it stay and work in your system through 5 days. Now, if you notice any heavier issues, go to your gynecologist, go to your healthcare professional. But as for me, I wish I would have known or learned about these products. I use a menstrual cup, and if I don't use a menstrual cup, I use the Honey Pot pads. I do not use tampons because tampons actually hold in your flow, and thus holding in odor and making your pH balance being thrown off. But the cup actually allows for it to flow. It's just catching the flow, and then you can dump it later. Find out what foods are triggering you. Find out what foods, if you have a partner, even if you're I don't promote teenage sex, but find out what your partner is eating, and find out go get a test done to see what your body can tolerate and can't tolerate, because sometimes what your partner is eating can also affect your pH balance, because men have naturally alkaline or average sperm, whereas a woman's healthy vaginal pH balance is acidic. So those two are automatically going to clash at most times. So find out what you can do to maintain your pH balance, but also find out the things that are triggering. Maybe on that day don't have unprotected sex. You know what I'm saying? Or find out what soaps work for you and what don't. I do use a feminine wash. I use the Honey Pot feminine wash. I love it. I've been using them before they even became known into Target or anything like that. So I just, I'm here for it. Okay, I'm here for it. What I'm gonna do now, I think I'm gonna take a black eyeliner. I'm gonna take my Perversion liner and line my waterline. Ooh, I love this liner. And the same colors I put on top, I'm gonna put on the bottom. Let's start off with Legacy first. Probably gonna put that, go right here up until like the middle point. Gonna use my mirror for this because I need to get up and close and personal around these parts. And then with my smudge brush, I'm gonna go in that color Confident and go closer to my lash line. Just smudge that out. Gonna take that same glitter glue and those two colors and go on the inner corner or the inner portion of the lower lash line. Change my mind. We're gonna go in with the Juvia's Place Duochrome liquid eyeshadow in the shade Ankara, I want to say it is. And then we're gonna take it on a liner brush and go close, like in the indentation. Yeah. And then I'm gonna go in with my Melt Cosmetics liner in the shade Onyx and just line the top lash really close. Ooh, y'all ain't ready for me. Going in with the color Power from the palette and highlighting my brow bone. Taking my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless bronzer in the shade 4D and going to accentuate these cheeks, man. And all the places that we put that other contour. Taking my Juvia's Place, which is a lighter bronzer, and going over my nose contour with that one. And I lied, I'm gonna use the Pomelo Peach from Haus. I was gonna use the Watermelon Bliss, but we're gonna use this beautiful one for my blush. Ooh. Yeah, that's pretty. Okay, let's spritz the face down so we can apply some highlighter. I'm gonna use my Charlotte Tilbury again. Going to use the gel powder highlight from Haus in the shade Raw Amber. Oh, this is first impressions. Look at how this looks as a highlighter compared to the blush. I love the packaging. It's like an iridescent. It's like my toes. My toes are this color. Look at that. So iridescent. I love it. Oh, look at that beauty. Let's play with it. I play with it in the store, but we're gonna see how it. Oh. Oh. Yo. I'm gonna use my Kat Von D lip liner and crucifix. Going in with my Juvia's Place lip in Libra. Going to get dressed, and I'll be back with the final look. So this is the final look, you guys. I really love it. Like, ooh, yes, girl. She looking cute. But where's she going? Nowhere. I hope you all like this talk that I did with the vaginal health. Things I wish I knew at a younger age. And I appreciate you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you notice every time I upload. And with that being said, it's your girl Letty. And I'm out. Peace.